All right, this video is going to be a little different, meaning that we're going to be talking about obsolete hardware that was once popular. And I find this such a cool video that I think is going to bring back memories to a lot of old timers like myself. So the first thing that I want to show is I really don't know what to show because all of it's so cool. Uh, okay, now this video that you see here, well, actually, this product that you see here, this is back in the day when the Celeron 300A was the shit, meaning that you were able to overclock it to ridiculous amounts of frequencies. I mean, I think it was 300 megahertz, and you're able to overclock it to 450 with no trouble whatsoever. So it acted like a Pentium 2 450 or a Pentium 3 450 or something like that. And this made history. This CPU here, this was Celeron, but it performed just like a 450 CPU because you're able to overclock it from a 300 to a 450, which was a killer. And this brings back a lot of memories. And CPUs used to be in a slot configuration. They're not anymore. Now they're like no. It's the way technology changes. It's so cool. But let's go back. Let's go back in time. Dramatic. 8088, folks. There you go. There is, and it's really screwed up. It's actually made by AMD. If you guys are familiar with the logo, it's the AMD logo. All right, so now I got the camera zoomed in. I have to make adjustments each time. So that's an 8088 from 1982, and it's made by AMD. How cool is that to see this in your presence? I collect CPUs. I've been collecting them for a long time. All right, so let's go to another one. Now, this is going to be a question. Let's see if you guys are familiar with this. Let's see how many of you know what this is. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm gonna. If you know the number, I want you to tell me in the comments below what that is. If you tell me what that is, I'll give you something. I'll figure it out, but I'll give you something. Tell me what that is. Okay, next CPU. I can't even see it. Very similar to the other one that I just showed, but for a different CPU. If you know what that is, tell me what that is. All right, so now we've seen all of those. Now back in the day, when I mean, I have so many CPUs. It'll make you go nuts. Remember this? 486 DX266 version 4. So this doesn't even require. It had this heatsink on it. No fan, no nothing, no fan, nothing. Just as is. And we'll go back even older. So 286, 10 megahertz. That's AMD. Then we have 386 DX40. And which was really interesting about this type of package is that it was pins, but it was soldered to a board, which is rare. Let's see what else I have that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, this is neat. You'll like this. It's a math coprocessor. There's another math coprocessor, 387DX20. This is a math coprocessor. This is a math coprocessor. What's this? Another math coprocessor. Anything with a 7 on it designates it as a math coprocessor. Let's see, what's this? Can't see it. Another one. Got a bunch of math co's. Back in the day, folks. Back in the day. Oh, you'll like this one. AMD 286. And this is really rare. No one's ever seen this. This is an 186, not a 286. Intel 8186. No one's, I don't think anybody's ever seen that, ever. Really rare. Really rare CPU right there. All right, let's see what else we have here. .286, 12 megahertz. Now look at this. This is how it would mount in the board. So they actually used to do pins and stuff at one point. And these are the connections on the back. All right. I mean, we have a ton of CPUs. 386, 16 megahertz. 385, 20. 386 DX20. So you guys remember what the difference between an SX and a DX was? 16-bit and 32-bit CPUs. All right, here we go. Guys know what this is? Where it's from? It's a Pentium 3. These were from laptops. See the size of the die? It's so tiny. They didn't have any heatsink on them because they were trying to make them thinner. So this would have looked like without the module on top of it. Okay, now enough of that. Because I can go crazy. I can go nuts with all the. I have a ton of CPUs, and I want to make you 2 board. 28610. Back in the day, we used to have turbo. We used to have a turbo button that you would press. It increased the speed of the performance. Oh yeah, here's a popular CPU. Back then. AMD DX280. It was faster than the DX266, and AMD came out with, and that was back in the day when AMD was kicking butt and they were winning the CPU battle. Not anymore, but that was a very popular CPU. Then DX33 megahertz, 486. Here's a blast from the past. Texas Instruments 486 DX100. There you go. 25 megahertz times 4. Cyrix used to make CPUs. Not any longer. They're gone. But I'm going to show you some more of these. Cyrix DX4100. Now, what do you see this baby? Cyrix 686. Now, I collect these, and that was 150 megahertz, by the way. It says PR200, performance rating 200 plus, so it acted like a 200 megahertz, like Pentium, but was rated at 150 megahertz. That's when they had the performance ratings. It was so stupid back then. Okay, now we're going to go to the Pentium days, when the CPUs were starting to get big, or bigger. So this is a Pentium 90. Remember, this was 90 megahertz. All right, and this one that's going to show up. This is bigger, and this is 66. And this was tremendous. I mean, I don't know if you could determine how big this thing was, but this thing is a monster. And these are Pentium. These are the big monsters. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down something that's relatively the same CPU size that we use today on top of it. So even though this is a Core 2 Duo E4500, but the size is really what I'm showing you. All right, so you can see the technology, how it has changed dramatically. Pentium, and then the Core 2 Duo. It's so funny. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. All right, now the one that I want to show you that I can't wait to show you. Do you remember the Pentium Pro? Look at the size of that thing. I'm going to leave it there for a little while so you can just stare at it, because I don't think anybody's ever seen one. Now, this is all gold. 24 karat gold, this whole thing. Pentium Pro. Flip it around so you can see the pins on the Pentium Pro. This is more, and look, 256. This was a 256K cache. It says right there. This was, look how many pins. They doubled up on them on some spots, and some spots they didn't. Isn't that cool? This is a piece of nostalgia. This weighs a lot. It's a piece of nostalgia right here, folks. Piece of nostalgia. Very old. Yeah, and I keep all this stuff. I have it. Not going anywhere unless someone gives me the right price. They could buy it from me. But I've been collecting CPUs for a number of years now. All right, now I'm going to show you another slotted CPU. This happens to be, I took it apart. I'm just going to show you the picture of it. Pentium 3 Xeon. It's a cartridge or a slot like the Celeron, except it's tremendous. So there's the slot. I could bring it out a little bit so you could see. So that's what the Xeons used to look like back in the day. Used to use a slot for that. Funny stuff, right? And I have the whole thing. I have the heatsink for it. So it would get mounted. It would get mounted like this. So here's the slot, the CPU itself, and then it would get mounted like this. And this, the aluminum would be the heatsink, and then this is the cartridge, and it goes like this. And there's the CPU in this thing. All right, so now we're taking care of those CPUs. We're taking this. Remember these CPUs? Intel Pentium with MMX. Ooh. Multimedia extension. That's what that stood for. MMX. Okay, now go to a different style. When they used to have a socket type, it would pop it in like a 286. So this would be like a 286 socket, and then it would upgrade to a 486. So we'd get like a major upgrade. All right, enough of that. Do you remember 30-pin SIMs? And then I would have a converter that converted to a 72-pin SIM. So this is 30-pin memory. This is 16 meg on here. They're 4 meg a piece. There's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 16 meg of memory. And then it would convert to a 72-pin SIM. So you would have, and I would have a bunch of them. You know, this would be another one. I had 2 of them. Back, I mean, I'm sure this is bringing memories back to you guys. And this is 72-pin memory that has parity, meaning it's ECC, what we call now. More ECC memory, 72-pin. And then regular 72. Actually, no, this is all parity. How can you tell if it has parity or not? By looking at the memory chip. If it has 9 chips on it versus 8. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's got 9. So this is parity. That middle one is the parity. Same thing with this one. Same thing. Got 9. Okay. Now, off to the cool stuff. Cooler stuff. We're going to go. I don't know which one to grab. I think I'm going to grab this one. Do you remember back in the day when ATI was around? This, my friends, is a ATI Mach 32. It's having trouble, this camera. So this is an old Mach, and I don't remember what, I think it might have. I don't remember how much memory is on this thing, but you can upgrade it because it has the 2 sockets where you can actually upgrade it. So it's a Mach 32. They also have a Mach 64, but this is a 16-bit slot. Old stuff, my friends. Old stuff. Now we're going to go to an 8-bit, an 8-bit card. And this is a Paradise 8-bit. Actually says made in Hong Kong. Versus China, Hong Kong. The outputs on it. Composite. And EVGA. Notice a 9-pin connector there? That's EVGA. All right, and now my pride and joy. My baby this is probably worth a lot of money. This is an ATI 8-bit card. And let it focus in, if it'll ever focus in. Small Wonder Graphics Solution version 1. Version 1, Small Wonder Graphics Solution. And there's the memory. At 120 nanoseconds. See the dash 12? That's nanoseconds. So funny. Okay, now I won't be able to show this next thing. This next thing is my major pride and joy. This, my friends, is a hard card. 8-bit, 20 meg hard drive. Look at this. So this is a full this is what they call the full length card. Full length. I'll try to slide it through down here, you see, so you can see it. Hard card 20. $1986. Well, this is the same year that I graduated high school. Now, why are you probably asking yourself, why do I keep this stuff? Why not? This is pretty much the reason why I'm in this business to begin with, is because of this stuff. This is what started it all. Well, majority of it. I mean, I do have an 8-inch floppy, but I don't have it available to me. It's somewhere in my house. I don't remember where it was, but that's pretty much it with old hardware. I have other stuff that we'll probably go through down another time, but this is Nostalgia Lane. Joeteck Nostalgia Lane. We'll come back to this. We'll do this another time. We're going to do this every month. Joeteck's Nostalgia Lane, once a month. See you next time. Crazy stuff.